Hey guys, MTast here, and today I wanted to talk about lobby balancing. Now, in competitive, this doesn't really happen because it's based on your overall rank, and from most of the games I've looked up, it's pretty good. I would say that it's pretty even. The levels of everyone going into comp are pretty much the same, but there can be some niche issues early on. There can be some level 30 players with terrible guns on your team, but that's not really the system because they might have gotten carried to the rank that they're at. But for the most part, teams are pretty even. The only issue with comp is if you go in solo like I do a lot of the time, you're going to come up against a team of 4. They're typically going to have better communication. They're going to beat you. And that's probably my fault. If I go in solo, I'm doing it for a reason. I'm doing it for the challenge. I'm doing it to help out other solo players. But I know a lot of the time I'm going to lose. But there's an interesting little thing that's going on in Destiny. And I wanted to discuss that right now. Because unless I play like this, where I'm obliterating everyone in my path, a lot of the time, it's impossible to win games because of lobby balancing. Now, I went through my history of games. Okay, so I blocked out everyone's names, and I had to cut the video because I didn't want to be an asshole to anyone. I didn't want anyone getting harassed because of this, but I need to talk about this in a pretty blunt fashion. If you're averaging a 500 ELO, this is a player that has hundreds of games played. Not like 5 games, not like 10 games. They lose almost every single game. And do you want to know why? Because their kill-death ratio is a 0.44 every game. It's a 0.3. It's a 0.2. That means that for every 1 kill they get 5 deaths. And that is their average. That is the average that they're getting, right? That is extremely low. And on any single team they play on, they probably hinder their ability to win, right? If you then look at their KDAs, this exemplifies the fact even more. 1.22, 0.97, 0.71, 0.53, 0.34. They've got 3 assists each, okay? I want you to look at the assists on the other team. 9, 8, 9, 8. Because they're actually doing damage, and yeah, they might not have gotten the kill, but they are contributing to the overall damage of the team. They are team shotting, they are in good positions, they are at least contributing. So even though their kill-death ratios might not be amazing here at the bottom, they both have a very large amount of assists. And this guy might have better stats, but he cleaned them up. I don't care how it works out. But if you look at the KDAs, if you look at the assists, to the kills, to all of the stats, these are some very, very weak players, right? And they're on my team. If you look at the average of this team, I think their average is 1,436. Ours is 1,134. But that's because my number is so high and theirs are so low that it's averaging out. If you were to get rid of me and put a 1,500 player in here, their average ELO would be like 900, 800, right? Now, the same situation could go here, right? He's got a very good ELO. He's very high. But that also means that their average, without him, would still be higher than ours. It would still be higher than ours overall. And there is lobby balancing in this game that needs to be adjusted. It needs to be fixed. Because this is the majority of my games. It is me with a bunch of players that are absolutely terrible. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault to be put in this situation, but they are the ones getting screwed more than me. Because these players are playing with this high-level player, and they're being dragged into lobbies that are most likely better, or the balancing that's being done is putting all the worst players on my team in a lot of situations. And then all of a sudden, they're getting destroyed by the overall better team. It's not a me issue. I don't really care if I lose. Honestly, sometimes it's kind of fun playing with players like this because I get the majority of the kills. But in other situations, we get absolutely stomped and have a bad experience because the balancing is so wonky and off. This guy farmed my teammates. He's got 40 kills, 40 eliminations. Where me, I got 26 because I'm trying to stay alive as these much better players are pushing in and massacring my team and turning every engagement into a 1v3 for me. Now, I say that, and it's frustrating. And at times it can be confirmation bias. You don't miss or you don't think about all the games where you were on the opposite end, where your team was better. But if you're going to balance the teams, you have to do it evenly and fairly. Because Bungie said that it was connection-based matchmaking. They would randomize the lobbies, and if this ends up happening, that's fine. But that isn't the case. There is lobby balancing in Destiny. They have confirmed it. They have said multiple times, multiple people at Bungie have said, we look at the connections first, and then we try to balance the teams accordingly. That's maybe not skill-based matchmaking, but that is still team balancing, and it still messes with the flow of the game. It still screws people on the top end and the bottom end, and in the middle at times. Lobby balancing still impacts the game severely, and if it isn't done very well, then it's even worse. Yeah, the connections in the game are awesome, but you've balanced the teams so poorly that it screws people on one of the teams in a lot of the cases. So let me show you another example where I get the other end of the stick. Right here. I'm playing with my friend here, and he's got a pretty good stats. I've got pretty good stats. Everyone on our team has pretty good stats. Then why are these lower players on the other team? Our average ELO is 450 more than them. Why? If you're going to balance the lobbies, why is the lobby balanced like this? It doesn't make sense. I don't want lobby balancing. Don't get me wrong. I do not want lobby balancing. I want competitive to be skill-based matchmaking and based on your skill, and quick play to be random. Whoever has the best connection is in my team. And the thing that I'm finding is the connections are shit a lot of the time. There are people teleporting more now than there used to be. And so if you change skill-based matchmaking, or you added it, or this lobby balancing is impacting it, then we need to talk about it. Because I'm noticing the quality of the games going down. I'm noticing that the games are getting very frustrating to play at times because the teams are not balanced. I'm noticing the connections are getting worse. And, I mean, if this is random luck, then that's random luck. If they place the better team here, the worst team here, is what it is. I can't worry about it. I can't complain. You can look on this one here. Boom. Another situation. Well, no, that's actually another situation. But, there's a couple of these where my team is better. If I go through my stats, like if I go down through here, there are situations where my team is drastically better. Look at this one. This one is better, right? We've got a couple good players. There's a handful in here where, yeah, my team is kind of stacked. But then there's other situations where the other team is stacked. And it just seems so random. Like this one here. We've got a couple really high level people, and then a couple of low people, and then an average team. And that's fine. This is fine. The ELOs are fine. I think we've got two really good players. They can kind of carry the team. This is okay. The issue is when you have these first games, because you can't carry this game. It's like putting Michael Jordan or LeBron James on a team with kindergarten kids versus a team of high school athletes. Michael Jordan or LeBron James are incredible. They're amazing. They're fantastic. But when you put him with the kindergarten kids that are getting in his way and not doing anything and useless in most situations, they're going to have a hard time winning against an overall competent team. The high school team will win, even though they're in high school. They're not in the NBA. They're not Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, whoever the good players are. Steph Curry, is that his name? Right? It doesn't matter that they're not that good. There's an overwhelming amount of skill in comparison to the lower ranked people. And it makes it unbalanced as hell. It doesn't matter that you have the highest ranked person. It doesn't matter that he's the best in that lobby. He's playing with a bunch of people that cannot compete, and they get wrecked. And the same thing goes here. Why are you putting LeBron and Michael against all these players? And if there isn't lobby balancing, then I don't know what to say other than this is the worst luck I have ever seen. But there's no way this is balanced. And so sometimes it seems like it's kicking in, and sometimes it seems that it isn't. And then sometimes it seems like it's working perfectly. Gold, 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 gold. Blue, blue, perfect. Bronze, 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 bronze. This one looks fine. This one looks okay. I lost. These guys were the better team. Awesome. But our stats are almost identical. We actually had higher ELO. They deserve this win. It's a nice balanced win. But there's something funky going on here. And we're having these crazy swings. And it can't be luck. Because there's too many of these games where it is obviously not balanced and my stats are impacting it and I'm getting put on this terrible team for it to be okay. There's like for the to be working properly. Because you could have distributed this much better. You could have distributed it like this. So why wasn't it being done? If you're going to do it once, you got to do it all the time. And if you're not going to do it, then why am I getting these all the time? Like every other game is like this. Why? Explain it. Thanks for watching. That's my rant. Goodbye.